Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of General Geekery. I'm Brian, and with me, as always, is JD. Uh,
Oh,
this is more or less a part two of our last episode that we put out not more than 48 hours ago, just because a lot of the stuff that we wanted to talk about on the last episode didn't quite one of the things we were going to do was review the Stinger, obviously the classified Stinger, and the only reason we put it on the last episode was because they delivered it while we were to me while we were recording the show. JD didn't get his until afterwards, and the other thing that we were going to look at was the Batman F5 build a figures, and when I opened them, I didn't realize that they're not really so much action figures as they are articulated model kits. So it took me some time to put those together. But
um,
I have those assembled, and we're gonna look at those real quick. And the other thing that we mentioned on the show, oddly enough, was the Marauder Vietnam Kickstarter.
that's where I was gonna go because
Yeah,
last time we mentioned them on the show, it was in regards to Marauder John being on the show, but we didn't want to have him on the show until those things started shipping because otherwise it'd just be inundated with questions about when is my shit going to ship. And I'm not gonna bother anybody running a Kickstarter with that nonsense. Um, the fact is the people running Kickstarters, they get hounded about shit constantly, and I will not be a voice or provide a channel for the voices to contribute even more to bothering those people who are just trying to get something done.
yeah.
The fact is, I've never run a Kickstarter, and I know just enough about it to know I would never, ever. Those people have no peace.
Yeah, that is
Um,
people ask me why I don't produce my stuff. And I mean, especially when I did like my Predator set and my Sons of Anarchy set, because I did like full production level boxed set. And people ask how come I don't make that stuff. And it's like this is why I don't I would have to crowdfund it. I'm not independently wealthy. I couldn't do this on my own. And
well, and not to mention,
I I, I
you
don't
would probably end up with licensing issues being run into the ground. But
absolutely.
instead, last night we got emails that everybody who backed the Kickstarter for Marauder Task Force Vietnam is getting refunded because it's now a year past the original estimated delivery,
Yeah.
and
Don't seem
they're
to have
making progress, but that progress doesn't seem to be getting them any closer to the figures actually being finished and released and sent out. So they're just giving everybody their money back. And that once some of those figures are available, well, because they're not all going to be available in one lump
right.
group like the original plan was. And once some of them are being released, they'll just be available on the website. And either you can get a store credit for Marauder's website, or they'll just refund whatever card you use to fund the Kickstarter.
And
And but either way, we're
the
getting the
store
money back.
Yeah, the store credit is 125% of what you put into the Kickstarter, and it never expires.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was telling my wife that, and I'm like, it's 125% gift card that never expires, and even she was like, "Ooh, that's not bad." So
Well,
as far as Kickstarters go, you know what? I am so disappointed in the people in the collection and customizing community today, because I have looked on Facebook and all I see is people bitching about this. Like, you are getting your money back and you're still complaining.
I did briefly look at a thread this morning where it was about half and half. People are like, "Oh, it's cool that they're giving the money back," and half the people are like, "Yeah," bitching about whatever. But I didn't see. I haven't, like I said, I only looked at one thread, and that was this morning because I didn't see it. But my whole thing is all the times that these Kickstarters, whatever happens, they don't go, and people bitch about how
How
a lot of times
they got
with
big
these small companies or with these independent whoever they are is that bite off more they can chew. There is no money to give back because it all goes into the project that ends up failing anyways on the production side.
yeah.
So this is a company that's big enough that they've found a way to refund that money. So for once, you're actually getting the money back. It is not lost, and you're still bitching.
And the product hopefully will be available in the future at some
Yeah,
point in time.
because
On
yeah,
top
nowhere in that email does it say that it's canceled or it's never happening.
no,
It says we don't know how much longer it's going to be because we've used the same facility but for much smaller runs of figures. And they basically said what happened was we went from the 10 base offerings to
like,
almost 40
yeah,
that
37.
funded, and we basically bit off we basically took 4 times the amount of product that was kickstarted in earlier campaigns and tried to put it through the same system. And at every turn, there's been roadblocks because
And it sounds like they got bottlenecked on they only had one person doing the sculpting too, so it
um
kind of got bottlenecked there too, which
yeah, it
and
seems to
how long
be
can do that.
that they kind of wish that the stretch goals had only been a couple of figures and they still would have found it manageable. But yeah, they went from like the 10 that were offered to like, I think there were only 2 or 3 stretch goals that didn't fund. And so it brought them up to 38 figures or something that they had to produce.
Also
That's a
37.
lot
Yeah,
of damn toys.
yeah. I mean, when you think about that, no toy wave launches, no toy line launches with 37 figures in the. I mean, if you're
No,
37 figures, you're gonna do that in waves, which is what should have happened here. But I'm not gonna critique. They bit off more than they can chew. They admitted it, and you're getting your money back.
you
And
know what? I wouldn't
eventually, in the
criticize
future,
because, for one,
be
like
available.
I said, I've never run anything. I've never been part of anything like that. I have no idea what goes into it. But I have to imagine that they are only doing this simply because they they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel and they don't want people to have to keep waiting endlessly for so I don't I just I don't know. It's a lot of give people an inch, they want a foot. So I don't.
Pretty much. I'm like I said, I'm pretty disappointed in a lot of people today. There definitely were some people that were like fully supportive of Marauder and like, hey, what I don't understand what you're complaining about. You're getting your money back, and the product will be available at some point in the future. Remember all of the Kickstarters that you have put money into that did not come to fruition, and how mad you were that you lost that money. Well, this is still going to come to fruition, and you're getting your money back.
I was going to say you're not actually losing anything except interest, apparently.
Yeah,
Kickstarter doesn't work that way. I know just enough about it to know that that has no place in anything. But I I think it's cool that Marauder's doing this.
yeah, 100%.
I it's definitely it's not their fault that you know, there's something to be said for it. Your Kickstarter was way too successful,
Right.
and that's kind of what happened here. It was way too successful, and they're they're a much bigger company than they were 20 years ago, but they are still not a big company.
And that's therein lies the problem is they they grew big enough, but not quite big enough to deal with this kind of thing, which I think is fantastic. I mean, that is a of all the problems to have, that's a good problem to have.
I was gonna say, I feel like if if they can weather what's happening right now and keep going and keep growing, then I I hope that's what happens. That's what I want to see happen because they've stood the test of time and proven over and over that they're good. They always make good. They
Yeah.
they care more about the customers and the buyers than certainly any of the big companies do, and a lot more than a lot of smaller companies do.
Yeah.
Um,
100%. And once again, once this stuff does come out, and it sounds like it will, we will have Marauder John back on for a release party, and just to show that we were supportive through the whole thing.
you know what? If it takes another year or 2 years, whatever. Whenever they're available, I'm gonna end up buying the same figures that I funded for the Kickstarter, and it's fine if it's in the future. It's fine. Um,
Because I mean, most of I probably would have kept a few things as is, but I buy Marauder stuff. I probably place a Marauder order at least once every 2 weeks. I would say,
store credit's awesome for you.
yeah,
Um,
I probably will do the store credit, and I will blow through that before.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
quite possibly. I mean, I'm using Marauder parts right now. I've got that was like one of the things, my wife and I always talk about, if we won the lottery, if we played the lottery and then won the lottery, what would we spend our, some of the immediate impulse purchases would be. And I said that I would probably buy 100 of each figure from Marauder just to have on hand for customs, because those are 90% of what I use for base figures for customs, because they're so nondescript and they're so easy to use. And yeah, that I would buy a shitload of Marauder stuff. So yeah, I will probably go through I'm probably gonna do the store credit, and I will do um I will blow through that pretty quickly, because I buy a lot of stuff from them, and I most of my customs are built on Marauder. There's probably at least one Marauder piece in all of my last several hundred customs, I'll bet.
and
Like
they've earned your loyalty, and you prove that
I'm
over and over again.
working on a
Oh
Beetlejuice
yeah, which Beetlejuice is it going to be? Which suit?
white and black suit. I am waiting
You're going to
for
paint the stripes?
Oh, I am going to mask the stripes. I have 3
Oh,
millimeter masking tape coming in the mail tomorrow. So I am going to mask it and then airbrush it.
yeah, because that's I don't. Good
Yeah.
luck
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
yeah, it's I'm working on a Marty McFly from Back to the Future. It is um the waist and down below is Marauder. I've got the lower part of the torso kit bashed into the reaction figure, so that it still has has the torso articulation.
Hey,
So
kid, what are you in the Navy? Would you jump ship? You're wearing the life preserver.
yeah. So while we are disappointed to see that the Kickstarter is not going to come to fruition as planned, it still sounds like it will in some fashion probably be obviously delayed for who knows how long, but it will. It sounds like at this point in time, it sounds like everything will eventually be available. It's just not going to be anytime soon. So with that, I'm going to move into real quick talking about the Batman F5 figures. I did get those assembled last night. They are 4-inch scale. I should have.
But he said that they do not fit into the Batwing, and I had no stake in it, but I am personally disappointed by it.
Well, and we talked about the Batwing about how small it was.
Right. But I was kind of hoping that these articulated models, I had kind of hoped that they would scale just well enough to fit.
There's a Joy Toy figure next to it for scale.
Oh, I see. So
So
what
they're actually fairly big. I don't think I have any like standard figures here that I
oh,
can.
so you probably couldn't get a Joy Toy figure in that cockpit either.
No, the figure
Because
that
the
came with
Spin
it.
Master, because yeah, the Spin Master superheroes, they are they are 4 inches exactly. They are
Ah,
no shorter. And
I don't
with
have
a few exceptions,
25th
they're
in.
no taller. So if the Batwing is actually scaled to the 4 inch, yeah, you're not going to be able to get any of that stuff
There's
in
a
there.
GI Joe 25th anniversary figure next to it.
Okay, yeah, so they're 18 scale.
Yeah,
Um,
true. This is I don't know enough about they're from the um shit, I don't remember what line. Arkham Knight video game, I believe. So
oh,
I don't know a lot about these specific characters, but they are really detailed.
I
Uh,
don't know about that game, but to me that looks like a heavily armored Batman Beyond, and
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. The articulation's pretty good. I like some of the workarounds they did for like the Paldrons because they plug into the back of the inside of the torso. I'm not a real big fan of the arms. The joint in the bicep that pegs into the shoulder ball socket doesn't work very well. It doesn't stay on there very well, and the elbows are not. They could have done a better job on the because the legs they've pegged the legs together. I think they should have done that with the elbows as well, since they went through the trouble of putting the legs together, assembling the leg.
Yeah.
But honestly, those are my only gripes. Um, they do kind of feel like you got to be careful. I mean, they do, they're they are not for heavy play. Um,
Well, no, like I said, they're articulated models. You had to put them together.
yeah,
Um,
but they are very, very well articulated. They will they will be perfect for photographers that do any kind of diorama stuff. The paint apps on these things are phenomenal. So this is the like armored Batman Beyond. Um, Customizing wise, there's probably a lot that you could do to improve on these, especially with the arms. But man, I really like these figures. I'm glad I got them. And for the price, I mean, you just can't beat it. This is the Red Hood figure. Um, if I was going to do any customizing, I would use a metallic red for the faceplate because it shows a metallic red in the art for the figure, but it's not metallic at all. Uh,
that hood looks really awkward.
yeah, it's the hood is part of the jacket. So
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. It doesn't quite work with the articulated head underneath.
no, not quite. But again, pretty small gripe, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, the paint apps are fantastic. The Deathstroke, the Terminator, uh, is a nice, solid, beefy figure.
Oh, badass.
Yeah, he came with a holster, but not a pistol, but one of the other guys came with a pistol. It sits in there very loosely. It wasn't designed for it. But the sword's removable. He comes with his staff. It seems like he had another weapon too, but I don't remember. Um, but yeah, the articulation's great. The paint apps are great on it on this one as well. Oops, shit. I think this is Red Hood as well. It's just more of an armored version of it. But again, the articulation's the same. The sculpt in the detail is amazing. I absolutely love these figures. And again, for 25 bucks, 30 bucks shipped for all of these figures, I am not complaining about the minor things that I don't like about them, which again are just the shoulder joints where the bicep plugs into the shoulder joint and the elbows are could have been designed a little bit better. But
Oh, I don't know what that armor is, but that's a neat design.
yeah, it's super cool. I've been wanting to make a custom of this for a while, but
Never seen that one before, but I like it.
the other problem that I did run into is that they use just a straight ball on the end of the foot or the end of the leg for the foot. Um,
So it moves well, but doesn't stay on worth a damn.
this is the only this one particular figure and this one particular
Oh,
foot is the only one that I've
okay.
had problems with. I need to just heat it up and then put it on there and then run it under some cold water, and I think it'll
Oh,
be
so that's not bad. You only had a quality issue with one of them. That's not bad.
no, and yeah, that is honestly the only quality issue that I have. Aside from the biceps kind of detaching, and then there's the armor Batman uh, that I opened on the show. Um, Again, if you want to risk buying them off of the AliExpress, I got them. So I mean, they showed up. So
How long did you have to wait? I'm just curious.
mm, like 2 weeks, maybe.
That's not bad. That's
No,
not bad.
maybe a week and a half, somewhere in there.
Not
Uh,
bad for a package coming from Asia.
yeah, no, not at all. And if nothing else, I mean, it was totally worth it just for the if you were gonna customize these and kit bash them onto to better figures. I mean, it's worth it just for the parts alone. Uh, One of the complaints that I've seen other people make is that there's no like torso articulation. Um, which you could fix by doing what I did with this figure, getting some Marauder parts and bashing the parts together. Um, it's more work than I want to put into them. I didn't buy these for customs. I bought them for my collection, so they're gonna
I was
look.
going to say they're going to display nicely with your
Yeah,
shelves.
yeah, absolutely. They're very very nice looking figures. I don't do a lot of extraneous photography with my stuff. The only pictures that I tend to take of my stuff are my customs. And by the time I am taking pictures of my customs, I am so fucking done with that custom that I don't really want to take pictures of that custom. But but I have seen some people use these in Dio stuff already, and they look fantastic because they are super articulated. They do pose very well. They hold their poses very well. Um, and yeah, they look fantastic. So I highly recommend these if you're especially if you're a Batman fan, because I think these are a step above um the multiverse figures that came out a few years ago. Um just the articulation is better and the paint apps are better. Uh so and for like I said, for 30 bucks for six figures shipped, you can't beat it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So highly recommend them. Uh I'll see if I can find the place that I bought them and put a link in the show notes below. Um, which brings us to the Stinger. The so I did a quick review on it on the last show, but JD got his today or day before
yesterday.
yesterday. So
So, um,
I'm gonna let JD tell you about what he thinks about it.
I was immediately surprised at how well the missiles attach to the rack. They've got the die cut in them has two circles at each end, so they match up perfectly with the missile rack itself, and they don't move. They don't droop. They
No.
don't move. They don't fall off. You got to tug at them to get them to pop off. So um, I wasn't I wasn't immediately sure how well they were going to attach to the rack because, for one, I remember my vintage one, the missiles fell off of it all the time. But even the way the original chintzy 50 cal on the vamp attached, the the dual 50 cals were not plugged in to to the rack nearly that well. So they were a lot more janky. They did pop up a lot more easily. So, and the missiles they're actually larger than I expected them to be.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
Um,
they
because
they are bigger than I thought they would
if
be.
I remember right, the vintage Stinger had the same designs for the missiles, but they didn't they didn't scale as well with it. Like they seem to be undersized for what I mean, when it was designed, who gives a shit? But I was just surprised and pleasantly surprised that they scaled this well with the like for these, this thing's gonna do some serious damage. And while I do look forward to getting a gun emplacement from Gridiron, I am glad that it doesn't lock down that well because they'll be easily interchangeable. Um,
Yeah.
I do think, yeah, I do think they did a good job with this. And I'll tell you what, the other day, my son and I on YouTube were watching some of the old GI Joe episodes.
Mhm.
I didn't raise him on it. He doesn't. I tried, not for lack of trying, but now he watches it with me. I think he's humoring me. Um, he's he's he calls it bonding time where he'll humor me and watch my stodgy old people shows occasionally. And but Worlds Without End was on. Now, at the beginning of that, early in the episode, we see the Dreadnoks and Zartan driving around a couple of Stingers. Well, some half-assed attack from the Joes happens, and the missile rack, with the missiles intact, it falls off the back of one of the Stingers, and Zartan picks up the missile rack and he fires one of the missiles. As you know, people laugh about Chuckles chucking one missile at a
Yeah.
hiss
Let's
off
think
of
that.
off of the Havoc and blowing it up. Zartan picks up the missile rack and shoots one of the missiles manually at the Joes. I had my Zartan figure out. This is scaled too large for him to pick up and manually fire it at the Joes. Um, yeah, so none of the classified figure, in fact, just for
And while he's digging that out, I got a couple of my uh his fire team
okay,
figures out, and they look fantastic. His fire team figures look great with the Stinger.
I put Zartan back in the display, so I don't. But here is a McFarlane Superman figure. Okay, he can't hold it either. So this is how I know it scaled well to the Jeep because when when the Kryptonian, when the Man of Steel cannot pick up the missile rack because it's out of scale, I feel like they did. I feel like, all right, this is not science, folks.
I,
This, but yeah, I do. Yeah, the missile rack does not attach very well to the. You know what it is?
does not.
The Vamp had the same problem. The little, the little peg that the stand is supposed to attach to is not. It should have been longer. Like it should have been, and then the hole should have been deeper in the bottom
Yeah.
of the attach. So that's the issue. But otherwise, I mean, it's cool. The little spiky thing off the front, that the Mad Max type attachment
Yeah.
does not stay on this bar worth of goddamn. But I have to laugh because on the Vamp, it came with four, no, eight headlights that all attached in, was it sets of three or four, and they're supposed to clip on to the bar at the front or the top of the canopy, where, because, well, this has the roof so it doesn't, but those headlights don't stay on worth a goddamn to the Vamp. So I love that they're consistently screwing up the way those little tiny attachments are supposed to hit the bar. Now, on the other hand, the roof and the doors, they stay on nicely.
Yeah, they do.
It doesn't take much to pull them off, but you don't have to worry about it coming off and losing it.
No.
And inside they detailed the dashboard nicely. And I like it. It's just as cool as the Vamp, while looking more ready for the apocalypse. So
It also looks really well. See, yeah, I just knocked off the front grate on mine. So
yeah, it's
I had mine sitting on the floor upstairs, and the dogs were running around it last night. And Izzy knocked off the missile rack, and she knocked off the push bar, the grate on the push bar. So the two things that JD just mentioned, the dog knocked over. It looks fantastic with the mobile missiles.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. It looks, the plastics aren't, so the the plastic on the mobile missile system is a little bit more shiny, where it's more matte on the Stinger. I kind of wish they'd have thought that one out and used the same finish on it, but that's a very small nitpick.
That does not show up on, like, the discrepancy is not visible on the camera, so that's good at least.
Yeah.
Um
But
so
it looks fantastic. I have to admit, I mostly got the mobile missile system for the Techno Viper because I'm a huge specialty Viper fan.
of course.
At the same time, I am glad I got the mobile missile system to go with my Stinger because it does look
I
fantastic.
don't remember. Did you say you had an MMS when you were a kid, or did
Uh,
you never have?
I
Yeah, I
had
never had one either. I never had the Cobra version, nor did I ever have the Joe version.
I had the Joe version.
Oh, you did? Okay. Um,
So
yeah, I got a Hawk figure later from a secondary store, from a secondhand, like a collectible store, when I
yeah,
was like 10. But
so
yeah, I never had the MMS. So
it's exclusive. So I didn't even know that was a thing until the internet.
yeah, I didn't either. That that was one of the many things that I don't think I discovered until Yo Joe showed us.
So I'm think it's probably, I would have to say it's safe to bet that it's only a matter of time before they repaint this in olive drab to go with your Vamp, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
determined. one for sure. But
Yeah. I mean,
I love how
I don't know if they'll do a set with Hawk, although with Colonel Hawk, like early Joe Commander Hawk. I have a feeling they might if the rest of the original 13 are in their plans, but even if they didn't do a Hawk, it I have to imagine that that's going that a Joe MMS will
it's
will
such
happen.
fruit. I mean, it's just a straight repaint. I mean, it just the Joe. If Hasbro is good at nothing else, they're good at repainting and repackaging.
Well, and with these things, they're clearly engineering them for multiple uses because it's Hasbro. Let's repaint it. Um,
Well, and not only that, I mean, the design of how they did the trailer hook in the mobile missile system itself is designed to go to trailer hitches of different heights.
ah,
So, I mean, they clearly plan to get as much out of this as they possibly could. You know, I there's rumors that they're going to do a Mobat at some point in time that had a trailer hitch. Um, I would have to assume that they're going to, now that they have the Vamp and the Stinger out, that they're going to do a Vamp Mark II. I mean, that seems like a,
there's no way they're not going to do a Vamp Mark II. Um,
yeah. I mean, that just,
it's just plain gullibility if you don't think that a Vamp Mark II is in the works.
I would be
Um,
super surprised if they don't, yeah, if it's not already in the pipeline at like a production level almost.
yeah. Um, even if it's even if it's an exclusive or part of a set of some sort, yeah, there's no way we're not getting the Vamp Mark II. I'd be shocked if we didn't get the Tiger Sting. Um, and honestly, I would be shocked if, you know what would be really cool is if they would do a repaint of it for the Danger at the Docks type,
Ooh,
from that 50th anniversary Toys R Us set. Um,
I've got that sitting right out in the hall here.
um, now my Stinger, 2 years ago, I made a custom of the Cobra Courier Vipera that was originally included with the 1998 Stinger repaint called the Rattler 4-wheel drive. Um, at the time I made this custom, it just fell off. At the time I made this custom, I never imagined she'd have a Jeep to drive. Because yeah, this is my custom of her. I deliberately used no Joe parts whatsoever. Um, so she, I mean, it's not decorated like the Rattler 4-wheel drive was 1998, but I don't give a damn.
I
She
think that's
has her,
easy custom to do if you have an airbrush.
yeah, yeah, wow, my lady sucks. But, all right, yeah, so she's got her ride now. So the Cobra Courier actually has transport now to, I mean, before I used to pretend she was on like an invisible Segway or something, but um, so she's got her Jeep. Where this goofy bastard is sitting in his plastic coffin where he belongs.
Now
Boring.
he needs to
All
come.
right, I admit the extra paint app on the padding here is nice. So it's about 10% less boring than the vintage version or the 25th anniversary version. 10% less boring does not mean that it doesn't suck.
Oh,
It
it's
still
fantastic.
sucks.
It does not. No, that is where you were wrong and always will be wrong. It's a Stinger driver. Stinger drivers are awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't mind sitting in his little blister tray here. He's fine. He's probably going to end up getting customized anyways because boring.
Or you
I
can,
mean, if Brian's nice, I might work out a trade with him, but
I was gonna say he can come live here and he can stand on a shelf with all the rest of his Cobra friends. Or
um,
you can I can have two of them and they can ride in the Stinger together.
um, yeah, they can go to the drive. They can go to the Cobra drive-through and sit there and watch half the movie before they get called back to work because an inconvenient Joe attack on Cobra Island.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
all I think it's a fantastic vehicle. I don't have the Vamp to compare it to, um, but I think they did a fantastic job with this. Gridiron posted a picture of a Stinger with all of the kits, as near as I can tell, that they plan to release on the vehicle, and just like a one promo shot. They said the kits are going to start going live this weekend, starting with the tires. Um, I plan to get on. I don't know if I need to see what all of them are because they don't show all of them, but I do plan on getting a significant number of the kits because
I I think for the Vamp, I think there were
four,
5 or 6 different
oh,
sets.
okay, I was gonna say four.
Um,
Didn't really keep track.
so and I only got the first set. I got the set with the 2 proper 50 cals. But so I imagine that this will be at least 4 or 5 different sets.
Yeah,
They put that reconnaissance like the recon system that they've been doing with the cameras and everything. They put that on top of it. The the vamp in or the stinger in the promo shot. So that's definitely something they didn't do for the vamp. So
it's pretty
um,
cool. I that was one of the things I was not. I'll decide on later. I'm definitely getting the tires when they come out this weekend. They have an upgrade for the push bar, and then they have upgrades for the step sides with like 50 cals. I'm gonna get those for sure too. They probably have a upgrade for a spare tire because I think the Vamp came with one. I don't know about that. I want, and then there's like a kit for the hood too. It looked like a basket to store stuff in. So um, really looking forward to seeing what Gridiron has in store for us. And we'll probably do reviews on that as it comes out as well. Because we did, JD did a review of the gun for the Vamp when he got it on the show. So I'll probably do the same thing, and um, as the as I get the upgrade kits, I'll mention them on the upcoming shows. Oh, that looks nice. So that's the Gridiron. Oh yeah, the grid. Yeah, there's the Gridiron gun on the Vamp. It's your
yeah,
cameras are camera is dark. It was hard to tell that it wasn't the Stinger.
but yeah, there we go. And yeah, yes, the vamp did have the drop
Cool.
down windshield. I never realized it. I never had a reason to push it down. I never accidentally did it. So it was only because in your unboxing you showed that the Stinger did that I even tried it with the vamp. I'm like, oh, that was there. Okay. Um, yeah, you would think at some point I would have fumbled and
Push.
accidentally knocked that out at some point, but no. So
All right.
um
So yeah,
so
all in all, I think it's worth it. I
oh,
I'm super
definitely.
happy
Yeah,
that
definitely.
they're way more available because I don't think you can get a Vamp anymore.
No, you can't. Well, the Vamp was a Pulse exclusive in the first place.
Mm.
Um, so I have a feeling that even though I mentioned that the Vamp Mark II could be an exclusive, I have a feeling it won't be. I have a feeling it'll be a wide non-exclusive release so that the people who didn't get the first Vamp can get one. And because the same people who bought the Vamp that will want the Vamp Mark II, they'll buy one. But the people who couldn't get a Vamp, I think that's the way they're going to be able to get one.
And that's I kind of had the same feeling as well as like, if they were smart, they would make the Vamp Mark II non-exclusive so more people can get it.
Yeah, because there was certainly a lot of people that I've seen in the groups that did get their Vamps, but a lot of people that haven't. And like I saw a comment the other day where somebody said, I really wish I could get a vamp, but I don't want to have to put a second mortgage on my house. So, um, the now I do think there'll be an exclusive of another repaint at some point, probably Tiger Force. I would love to say that I'll get that one, but if its availability looks anything like the Tiger Paw, well, I might have to question that because I can't get a Tiger Paw. They're ridiculous on the secondary market. They're not available. So, unlike Duke with the Tiger Ram repaint, where there were plenty of them, there are not plenty of the Tiger Paws with wreckage.
That kind of,
Um,
me honestly.
so either the production levels were lower on it as an exclusive than it was for Duke, or or they weren't or they weren't shipped as widely. But I have a feeling it's a production number thing. They're more limited, and so I cannot get a Tiger Paw. Not say I won't get one at some point, but I can't get one right now. And it's not a matter of I want one right now, so I gotta have no, it's a matter of it annoys me that it's
So hard to find.
yeah, it annoys me that the option isn't even there to go get one because while there are stores in the country that do have them, and I have seen people posting pictures of their finds with the tiger paws on the shelf, they're not available on the website, and the stores here they do not have any because I've called because sometimes the stores here they'll check with the other targets and they don't have them. They're not available, and you can't. They're not available to ship. So if they make a tiger paw, I don't know that I'll be able to get one. Or the tiger sting. But regardless, whether they make it or not, um, I am glad that I have a stinger and a vamp. And I will say, I don't think the vehicles should be any bigger than this. I mean, for anybody who has room for bigger vehicles in the classified scale, that's cool. But these take up just enough room for my tastes.
Yeah. Um, and that's one of the things that I was thinking about is like, if they do well, when they do a Vamp Mark II, do I really I'd never had the Vamp Mark II. I always have always liked the vehicle, but I've never owned one. I've never owned the vintage one. I do did they do a 25th anniversary one now? I gotta look. I might have a
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they did or not.
look, because I don't have the like medium-sized vehicles out. I've got them stored away. Let me look real quick because
You could just check on Yo Joe.
I could want to.
I could check on Yo Joe.
If I did, I don't have it.
Um, I'm just curious. I'm checking on it. Um,
But anyway, I don't know. Displaying vehicles is like that is the part I'm having trouble with right now while I'm redoing my display room is it's really hard to display vehicles. Um, so it's like, do I really want to get another vehicle this size and not
they
have a
did they did a Vamp Mark II in the desert colors and the Vamp Mark II in the urban colors because now I remember there were two different versions of the Danger at the Docks 50th anniversary sets. One
oh,
of them had a tan or a brown vamp. So Yeah, so they did one, but it was later. Um,
I wonder why I don't have that. I would have.
because you said your Toys R Us didn't get any of the 50th sets.
Oh yeah.
Um, well, do you have the set with the Urban Vamp? I
Uh,
would have thought that
I
you
have the
would have
danger
found
at
a
the
way to
docks.
get those because
I
of
have,
the eel.
I have yes, I have the danger at the docks. I have the San Diego Comic Con danger at the docks set,
Um, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know which one was the. I guess that was the Urban one.
yeah,
But
and I think those did make it to my Toys R Us because I want to say that I have two of those.
oh,
But,
okay.
but
Yeah, I don't remember, but
but
all right,
I'm
yeah. So they made a Vamp Mark too, but not until later.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of surprised I didn't pick that up because that was one that I wanted as a kid, but mm,
Yeah,
my
I
folks
had one.
were
I
very much
remember.
like, if you already have this, you already have this Jeep. Yeah, but I don't have it in this color with those weapons. Ah, you already have this Jeep. So
Um,
I never
yeah, I definitely had one because I remember uh appreciating that Clutch version 2 was the tan version, and he matched Clutch in the Sunbow cartoon.
yeah.
Um, so um, yeah, I was always happy about that. I don't know why, but it just I found it gratifying that Clutch matched the cartoon. And I found it annoying that Breaker and Grunt didn't. I mean, they did, but not the exact colors. I don't know why. I got hung up on that crap when I was a kid. I don't get hung up on it now, though. Not at all. No,
Or
I'm not anal retentive about anything.
no. Yeah, no, it's just it kind of surprises me that I didn't pick one of those up. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, it
I'm
must not.
actually surprised they didn't do that one during the 25th era because
That's probably
they
why.
were repainting a lot of vehicles then.
That's
Um,
probably why I didn't pick it up, as it didn't come out during the 25th anniversary stuff when I was buying like everything that came out. But yeah, I would have sworn I had one, but I don't see it. But that doesn't mean that there's not one out there somewhere still. Um, but so yeah, I don't know if I will pick up the classified Vamp Mark II if and when it comes out, just due to the room. And I'm curious to see what other classified scale vehicles are will come out over the next few years, and do I want to save room for those? I
I've seen a rumor about a Thunder Machine,
huh
and
I
that would not surprise me because it would be roughly the same size as the Vamp, I think.
a
And the
little
Stinger.
it'd
Um,
be a little bigger.
what?
It'd be a little bigger.
Maybe, but I mean, it wouldn't have to be. Um, they could still Mad Max the shit out of it and make it the same size as these two vehicles. But um, I don't know if that was a wishful rumor or something that somewhere Hasbro's talked about it. I don't know, but
And I think I've seen rumors that they've talked about doing the Wolverine at some point in time too.
um,
So there is a cover girl figure out.
I think I do think they should do a Mobat, and if they do a Mobat, yeah, they should do the Wolverine. Um, not that I would buy the Mobat because it would be bigger, and you know what? No, there's no way I could.
I think that would have
But
to be a HasLab project.
yeah, definitely. But even then, it would be the same thing as the head. It's a room thing. I don't have room for it. Um, um, but I I more so want to see classified Steeler, whether or not he's got his tank. Um,
I have
but
I have to think that they're going to do all of the original 13 at some point in time. I mean,
I hope so.
the,
I really do. I mean,
the fact
Flash has to be in the plans because Glenda that comes with the Dragonfly has his laser pistol and
yeah,
his laser rifle and backpack,
yeah.
which the original Glenda, the Argentina release back in the 80s, she had Flash's gear with her. So, I mean, they tooled it up. So I have to imagine they're making a Flash to use that equipment. Um,
I also have to imagine that they aren't going to get hung up on releasing figures that don't come with their vehicles, again, just due to CoverGirl.
yeah. Well, and Copperhead. I mean, honestly, I saw a lot of complaints that Copperhead doesn't have the moccasin, but Copperhead's a character. He doesn't have to. He can drive anything. Damn it. Um, but I think I've seen wish lists for people saying they want classified Maulers and classified Morays, and holy shit.
Oh, I
Um,
love a classified more. I don't have the room for it, but
classified Moray would be like a piece of furniture.
yeah,
Um,
I would I would have a hard time. I would probably pick up extra shifts.
you'd probably have to pick up an extra dining room table to put it on too.
Yeah,
Um,
I
uh,
would I would have a hard time passing on that. The Moray was one of my favorite all-time favorite toys when I was a kid, and anything that floats is automatically a win for
well,
me. So,
and I'm still the lamprey is still on my original list of 10 classified wishes from 2020 that still has not been fulfilled. Um, so,
I wish I'd have written those down so we could have gone back and looked at it a lot easier, but I don't even
well,
I can't even
I
find it.
have all of mine saved on Facebook. Like I have them as saved posts.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't do that.
and the rest of my list, Super Trooper, the Lamprey, and there's one more now that I can't remember off the top of my head that we're not. Oh,
With
rip
them
it. But
with them doing Starduster, I can't imagine that they won't do Super Trooper.
oh, if they do Super Trooper, I will be elated. Do they need to? No, but do I hope they will? Yes. Um.
I think it'll be an exclusive though. It's going to be
Oh.
like
Oh.
Comic-Con or
It's
something.
absolutely going to be an exclusive. They're definitely not going to make a wide release of Chrome Silver Super Trooper for the classified line. I mean, even if he's not back metalized Chrome, still he's going to be the Silver Soldier, and he's not going to be a wide release. No way. No way. Um, um, but if they make Super Trooper, then they have to repaint him in neon colors and call him Rapid Fire. So, all right, they don't have to, but well, they should. Um,
Or you will.
well, yeah, I will.
You'll
Yeah.
buy it to
Um,
customize.
yeah, I'll buy some lime green spray paint, and oh yeah, we'll have a 1990 neon horrific Super Trooper repaint. Um,
All
but
right. I think that's about this
yeah,
was going to be a pretty short episode just because it was essentially a second parter to the previous episode. So
yeah.
there was
Um,
a whole lot that's changed in the last 48 hours of us doing our previous show. Aside from the obviously the Kickstarter, which I think we kind of beat that horse to death. And again, we're sorry to see that it didn't come to fruition as planned, but we're excited to see where Marauder goes with it and wish them all.
oh yes, and they will. I will always believe that Marauder will do everything they can. So
Yeah.
um,
I think it'll happen. It's just going to take them. They'll get it done when it gets done. I mean, it's longer than they wanted, than people were willing to tolerate for the Kickstarter, and I get that. Um, so I think it'll happen when it gets done, and now they can take their time on it too. There's no rush to get stuff out. They can make sure the QA/QC is done properly and stuff's not junk and not going to fall apart when you get it. So in the end, this may be the best thing. So
Yeah.
I'm 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 sad, but I have not lost hope that we will not see these figures, because I have a sneaking suspicion that we will see these figures in waves over
You know
the next
what?
several.
Rebellions are built on hope, and hope springs eternal.
Yes. So I have hope. Um, I think that's about it for this show. Like I said, I'm going to try and find a link for the F5 Batman figures and put that in the show notes. If you don't find that and you still want to get a hold of those sets, get a hold of me through social media or post on the in the comments, and I'll see what I can do about getting links to people if I can't find it. Um, Let us know in the comments below if you got a stinger, what you think of it. Are you going to get the gridiron parts for yours? And we are curious to know what classified vehicles that you would like to see in the future. I think we ought to.
And if you bought more than one Stinger or Vamp, I would just like to know how many you have because, well, it's cool to see a line of these vehicles. I just, if you've got the real estate for it, I'm just curious. So,
Maybe that we ought to do. We did our top 10 lists of figures that we want to see. Maybe we should do that on our next episode of top 10 vehicles that we would like to see in the classified line.
um, there aren't 10 vehicles in the classified line that I would buy. Now, ones that I would like to see, sure.
Sure.
I would like to see some of the robotic action packs, like the rope, like the rope backpack,
All right.
or
Put it on the
the
list.
small tricycle. That
That's a whole episode for us. So put it on the list, and then
okay?
let's do a let's do that on our next episode.
All right, sounds good.
All right. As always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.